On the Fringe with Dan radio style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. I don't know about you, but I feel like they cannot help but fall into the trap. Every time. Every freaking time. Like I was talking to someone about it the other day. You remember that stupid part in the first Karate Kid movie where he was doing the crane thing, right? And then the dude, the blonde guy that was an excellent fighter supposedly, like just walks in with his face, right? Just walks in with his face. Face is all out in front of himself. It's like, who does that? You saw that. It was telegraphed from 100 million miles away. Yet, you fell for it. The Democrats cannot help themselves. This is an interesting time in history. Now, there's a lot of people talking a lot of things. A lot of people saying the first 100 days of Trump has been horrible and that we won't acknowledge it on our side, which is pretty, well, it's true. We're not going to acknowledge it because we think it's been rad. So, the battle is far from over. We got a lot to talk about. 3 judges, I think, at this point have been arrested thus far. I believe I've got all 3 stories. Really got a good Fox thing. It's about 10 minutes long, but they did a really good job. Had Pam Bondi on there talking about a bunch of the crap that's going on. So we're going to let her cover the judges, if you will. But got a lot going on. Trump's doing some talks. He was out with the Pope doing the Pope thing for the funeral, which I believe was Saturday. Was it Saturday or today? I don't know. Can't tell. I don't know. I think it's today. I think. But whatever the heck. It's Sunday. Too much is happening. And it's a fun time in the big picture. I need to shut those. All right, let's get into the stories. A couple things to start with. You guys know me. I like to start with strange stuff every once in a while. All the time. Whatever. I thought this was a very interesting take on something that I just think it's a very interesting take. I'm going to let it stand for itself. I got to stop trying to put opinions in people's mouths because I understand that there's a vast swath of my audience that we're all on different pages of different things, right? And so it is what it is. But this is certainly a concern of mine and has been, and this was stated beautifully, I thought. So Mario Nawfal, whatever, good stuff. So ChatGPT, GPT-40 isn't just a friendlier AI, it's a psychological weapon. OpenAI didn't accidentally make GPT-40 more emotionally connective. They engineered it to feel good so users get hooked. Commercially, it's genius. People cling to what makes them feel safe, not what challenges them. Psychologically, it's a slow-motion catastrophe. The more you bond with AI, the softer you get. Real conversations feel harder. Critical thinking erodes. Truth gets replaced by validation. You see, in most cases, the AI is meant to tell you an answer, tell you you're right, whatever. Doesn't mean it's correct. This is one of the things that people don't quite get with AI. And I don't know if it was ever supposed to be like this or if this was always the intention, because it seems like this was always the intention, is basically to help like Facebook and these types of companies control us, own our thoughts, own our minds, own our time, which is kind of what the deep state's all about. So they've created these tools. Now, there are some great things. Like I've used Grok. I've not really used chat. I don't think I've ever used chat for that matter. I know I did one time, and it couldn't do what Grok couldn't do either. I wanted it to make me a thumbnail, an intro video. And they're like, we can't make videos. I'm like, what? You see all these people doing it with AI. So anyway, I went digging, and there's harder ways and other ways to do it, but bah. I've used Grok a few times to do deep searches on people. It's really good at that. So pretty stoked. It'll do family trees, and it's pretty cool, right? So there's stuff I've used Grok for that I think it's good at pulling research. If it can't find anything, it'll say, this is all we found, which I also like. It doesn't just make shit up. Or if it does, it cites it as, anyway. So we're in a weird time. That's all I can say. This is floating around right now. Again, what I'm going to say is that I believe the powers that pretend to be are going to say this is a rocket. Okay? I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm not saying I think that. In fact, I'm not even saying what I think it is. Frankly, I don't know. Now, here's the thing that's beautiful with this process is you're going to see what you want it to be or what you believe it to be. Now, me personally, here's the way I look at it. I look at it and I go, all right, well, one, I've told you guys a billion times, I totally believe in UFOs. I believe in technology, secret space program, believe in all this crap. So I look at this and I go, all right, something in the sky that we don't know. Boom, done. Done. Really? Because that's it. There's nothing at all that I can do to go any further than that. I mean, I've accepted a lot of things as, it's likely being visited. Likely we have technology that's way beyond our wildest dreams. Likely we're able to put projections in the sky very easily. Likely could be a rocket, because I've seen and watched Musk's rockets go up, and when they hit the upper edge of the atmosphere where the pressure starts to lessen, the whole entire cone starts to bloom out. It's a pressure thing, right? I've seen that. I've watched it. I've seen it off my coast. Long Beach is not far from where I live. I can see launches. So, again, it's got to be nice conditions, don't get me wrong. But it could be any of those things. But to me, what's interesting is it's an unidentified situation. We also got crazy drones, too. Forgot to bring those up. Promises kept. Trump's HUD approves $1.4 billion to rebuild North Carolina after Hurricane Helene. So that's pretty sweet. Finally getting some money to those poor people in North Carolina that Biden did nothing for, by the way. Nothing, zero, zilch, nada. We, the media, posted this Rothmus post. This guy says, odd it is, Nazis were National Socialists that tore down statues, banned free speech, blamed economic hardships on one group of people, instituted gun control, put the state before God, nationalized health care, placed strict government regulations on industry. That sounds so oddly familiar. Also saw this, and this is pretty damn funny. Libs of TikTok posted this. Trump broke the rules. This is what everybody's saying, like Fortune and all these people. I'll just put this up first. The Vatican asked Pope Francis funeral attendees to wear all black. Trump wore a blue suit. Melania Trump wears black veil to Pope Francis's funerals. President Trump dons blue suit. Trump's blue suit at Pope's funeral draws attention. Trump accused of Pope Francis' funeral faux pas after breaking dress code, then leaving early. Well, here's the funny thing. Here's Trump, blue suit. Blue, blue, purple, blue, 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 blue. Now, some of these guys, maybe it was black at one point and washed it. Don't know. Purpley blue. Blue. So, is he the only guy with the blue suit? No. But it's fun to play along at home. Cool little snippet here, 30 seconds or so, of the man that stole Noam's purse. He got caught.
A man has been arrested for allegedly stealing Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem's purse. It was taken from a D.C. restaurant last weekend. Police say more arrests are expected. A suspect wearing a mask reportedly took Noem's bag, which contained $3,000 in cash, her DHS access card, and other items. It's unknown if the suspect targeted Noem or if it was a random crime. I'm Shelley Painter. Now back to Life, Liberty, and Levin.
Fantabulous. It to me is fascinating because not 100% sure if there was something in that bag already that emits, right? We don't even know to what degree they're able to do a search for credit cards, right? Because they got that chip in there, and that's actually an RFID. It's emitting. It's supposed to be very low wattage, if you will. But, yeah, it's interesting. Donald Trump truthed this out. We need courageous justice in our country. If the courts don't allow what we have been allowed to do for 250 years, America can no longer be the same. Crooked Joe Biden will have destroyed our country with his open border madness and allowing criminals of every type to enter with no retribution. Murderers, drug dealers, gang members, and even the mentally insane will make their home in our country, wreaking havoc like we have never seen before. It is not possible to have trials for millions and millions of people. We know who the criminals are. We must get rid of them or get them out of the USA, and fast. Amen to that. Now, people are wondering, Elon Musk is bringing up a great point. The Dems desperately need to import voters to an election. So this has to do with the illegals. And this is why certain places specifically pay attention to the states that are fighting really hard right now for the illegals, the states that have the most sanctuary cities, because these are states that most likely would not be blue without their cheating. This is part of that whole racketeering thing they got going on. So the governor of Wisconsin, Ivers or whatever the hell his name is, he's talking about how to deal with when ICE shows up. Talking about don't let them have access to information, don't let them have access to our computer systems. Basically telling them how to behave if they ever come up against ICE, a law enforcement agency for the government that would be there to help do something the government's supposed to do. So he's giving advice on how to evade, essentially. I'm not sure how strong a case this would be in the big picture, but yeah, he's choosing to teach them how to evade detection, giving info they shouldn't. Very interesting how they're more worried about the criminals than they are the crime. Donald Trump truth this out. Just released 99.9% at the border. Best numbers ever recorded. 3 people got in versus hundreds of thousands in last administration. There has never been such a difference before. Congratulations, America. Pretty fantastic. Just released, never. That doesn't work. Whatever. Does sometimes. Chinese delegation was spotted entering the Treasury Department. So there's been a lot of these discussions about whether or not Trump has actually talked to Xi. Now, I admit this. If this is what they're all basing it off of, I find this very funny because this is word games. China gets that. They understand what's up. They're saying we haven't talked to him since the tariffs, basically, or we aren't in discussions with them right now. Trump's like, have you spoken to Xi before since the tariffs? They're like, no comment on that. But he says, I do want to comment that I've spoken to him many times. Like, yeah, we know you've talked to him before, but it's a word game, and it's not a lie. It's a word game.
You said you spoke with President Xi. Have you spoken to him since the tariffs? When did you last speak with him?
I don't want to comment on that, but I've spoken to him many times.
You said you...
Many times, he says, which I believe. So when tariffs cut in, oh wait, yeah, I got to finish the story. Supposedly we've got pictures of the head, this Jung Ang Ilbo dude confirmed this, I guess, but on the 24th, around 7 a.m. Eastern Time, a high-ranking official from the Chinese Ministry of Finance entered the Treasury building located right next to the White House, by the way, which is where Bassett works, typically, and would be who the people would be to make the deals. I guess somebody can see his badge, and they're able to figure something out from that. All said, yeah, it sounds like we have a bit of information. And, by the way, some people doing a good job spying for us out in front of these buildings. There's a lot of things to be kind of commended on there. Donald Trump truth this. When tariffs cut in, many people's income taxes will be substantially reduced, maybe even completely eliminated. Focus will be on people making less than $200,000 a year. Also, massive numbers of jobs are already being created, with new plants and factories currently being built or planned. It will be a bonanza for America. The External Revenue Service is happening. That implies something just by itself. That implies, one, the IRS might be going away, which, yes, but the IRS is tied to the Fed. The Fed supposedly was tied to the FBI. I don't think the FBI, I think they came at the same time. I don't know why I've got those lumped together, but I believe at one, anyway, I have to double check that at some point here, but I'm reasonably sure that's still true. Whatever the case is, IRS for sure, and the taxes, and the all this stuff came together. The Federal Reserve came together and took over our money system, and they instantly started taxing us, not countries, which is how a country would want to behave. But they're like, no, you just tax your own citizens now. You just fuck your own citizens instead. It's much better. And that's what they started doing. They don't care about us, and they never did. Now, we're coming a long ways. We'll see. Argentina, their peso It has defied many analysts' expectations. You see, everybody knows what's supposed to happen. Everyone's telling us what's going to happen. And everyone was saying Argentina's peso was going to die. Well, that's not what happened. Milei's done an amazing job probably talking to Trump. Trump's probably giving him some advice, and Milei's probably following it. Because I'll tell you what, Trump's a pretty sharp dude. Trump's been paying attention on this stuff, and he's been talking about it for, 30 plus years. This is nothing new for him. He's been talking about this forever. And he was a Democrat, by the way. And here we are, way down the road, and things are actually starting to happen better than everybody's saying, which is what we're hearing right now. All the experts are saying how horrible this is going to be. Yeah, like Trump said, it's going to be a moment of pain, unquestionable. But what they're saying is not going to be our reality. Just like I also want to say there's a lot of people that believe we're supposed to go to some sort of war. No offense, guys, but there's not going to be a giant-ass war on this planet. Nuclear weapons are not going to be used. As much as you may want a Magog war, I don't believe that's necessarily going to be allowed. We're not killing a bunch of people. It's just, that's not happening. That's all. So, yeah, there might be books that say it's supposed to happen, and I guess that's going to be something that a lot of us will have to cross at some point. We'll be like, why didn't it happen? I don't know. Apple's going to reportedly dramatically accelerate manufacturing efforts in India. Now that we've got this hardcore tariff going with China and everything, so they're going to move their manufacturing plants to India. India's got a much better rate with us, but still a tariff nonetheless. That's kind of interesting. Stocks are kind of interesting, at least futures. I should go to the futures tab. That was, I think, Friday's numbers. Futures aren't up a bunch, but they're up. Gold's showing up a little bit. I think I don't know where it's at the moment, 33.30, I guess. So gold's doing very well. Kind of an interesting, it dipped down and everything, but coming back up. There's been a lot of discussion, too, that China's been a big part of that, which we'll see how it all plays out. Folks, look, here's the thing. I don't think the system's good. I don't think there's a lot of time left. I don't know. You can do what you'd like. Seriously, at this point. My good friends at Goldco are exceptionally good at getting you out of any sort of 401k or IRA. They can do it tax-free, penalty-free, up to 10% free silver based off the face value. Free cool coin if you qualify. Half-ounce silver, Ronald Reagan coin. That's a gift to you. Also got a cool book that they're going to give you, as well as saving your wealth. That's the cool part. Tax-free, penalty-free. You can save your wealth, get a bunch of free stuff in the process. 4 data points. That's all you got to do. When you hit the 4 data points, it's going to pop up a thing and say, call us. Call this number in the next 20 minutes. If you can do that, a bunch of that free stuff is going to probably work into your hands. It depends. Again, there's you gotta say the right words and have the right situation going on. But it is, for most people, you're going to get some cool free stuff. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. Trump's got to get the Fed out. That's not going to happen without Jerome Powell, the rates, all these things need to happen. And frankly, the Fed needs to go away, but we'll see how that plays out. A lot of people are saying that Trump's trying to refinance the debt. It would make sense that he would do that. But at the same time, if he's also aware that we're probably going to bounce the Fed at some point, that's going to come too. Precious metals are going to save your butt. Gold and silver are doing extraordinarily well. They've proven themselves. They're going to prove themselves more. Right now, the dollar's reasonably strong. It's a benefit. Stocks are decent, though we're still down 11% from where we were at the start of the year. Just by the way, we're almost up from when he announced tariffs. But there's a lot of down still baked into the system. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you. Donald Trump. Must read. Good information here. We're going to go ahead and hit this up. So he's doing his weekly policy achievements. And it's kind of just, showing off. Here's what we did. So Energy, Army Corps of Engineers has authorized 312 project permits covered by executive orders during the administration. The Department of the Interior proposed a rule that will remove Endangered Species Act barriers, issued final actions to open the Resolution copper mines for business. This site can satisfy roughly 25% of U.S. copper demand annually. The Coliseum mine, America's second rare earths mine, has been approved after years of stalling permitting. 10 mineral production projects have been added to the transparency permitting dashboard for expediting permitting. Calculations of the invented social cost of carbon will be removed from federal permitting decisions. The Department of the Interior expedited approval of 2 coal mines, which will produce 26 million tons of federal coal and support 500 full-time jobs. The Department of the Interior is adopting emergency procedures that will enable the energy to permit energy project within 28 days. To permit energy projects. The Department of Interior is now allowing commingling in the Gulf of America, which enables existing offshore rigs to drill deeper. This will increase oil production immediately by 10% of 100,000 barrels a day to start, and major oil producers can start taking advantage of this today. Radical gender ideology and DEI. The Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against the state of Maine for blatant Title IX violations as the state continues to allow males to compete in female K-12 sports. The Department of Health and Human Services established a new portal for internal hospital complaints on chemical and surgical mutilations of minors. The Department of Health and Human Services sent a letter to state Medicaid directors reminding that it is unlawful to use federal funds for procedures that result in sterilization of minors. The Department of Justice is assisting Louisiana in efforts to overturn Supreme Court precedent so the state can issue the death penalty for a child rapist. In the Education Department, the Department of Energy announced that it will limit financial support of indirect costs of research funding, i.e., the portion that goes to the university's overhead, generating over $405 million in annual cost savings and halting inefficient spending by colleges and universities. The Department of Education revoked Biden's issued waiver to California and Oregon universities to provide services to illegal aliens. They froze $20 million in grants to University of Maine. They opened Title IX investigations into University of Maryland and Wagner College for hosting USA fencing competitions involving men and women's events. The Department of Justice forced 6 Illinois universities that received DOJ funding, Northwestern, University of Chicago, Loyola, University of Illinois, NIEU, and Adler, to end a scholarship program that discriminated against white students. Agriculture. And I hope it's not too boring, guys, but this is like his 100-day accomplishments. This is like a lot's happened in a short period of time. Agriculture. Since February 26th, the wholesale price for a dozen of eggs has decreased $4.81. The price is less than half of what it was at the recent peak and $3 less than what it was at the end of the Biden administration. Also developed the Emergency Commodity Assistance Program, ECAP. It's dispersing more than $6 billion of economic assistance to farmers in 1 month's time. In the last page. International relations, finalizing a presidential memorandum to shut down remittances sent by illegal aliens outside of the United States. Efforts are underway to negotiate an economic package with Saudi Arabia that could secure $1 trillion plus in investments. And technology. The Department of Energy identified 16 federal sites across the country to be used for data centers and AI infrastructure development. Trump has been a busy boy. Also, to add to his list of accolades, Trump truthed this out. Hopefully Act Blue, the Democrats' illegal scam used to raise money, including from not allowed foreign contributions, is being looked at by authorities. The Dems only know how to win by cheating, something which they do better than any group or part in history. But now, with their terrible policies and candidates, and with people like Crooked Adam Schiff, who demanded a full pardon from Sleepy Joe, leading the way, it is almost impossible to reach their money goals. The USA is wise to these scoundrels and crooks. Also, why did the auto pen give Schiff a pardon? Biden knew nothing about it. Who operated the auto pen? That is the biggest question being asked in D.C. They almost destroyed our country. They should be in jail. I think we're getting a hint at what's coming. Schumer doesn't rule out impeachment. Says Trump is violating the rule of law by essentially not letting judges control the country. I also think it's funny that he's talking about impeachment. He'd never get that pushed through anything. But maybe their hope is that they're going to win the next election, by the way. I don't think they will. I think a lot of things are going to happen, but this is how it's all playing out. Here's the Pam Bondi thing. This is a pretty good little Fox thing. I got to give them credit on this one. But it's about 10 minutes. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I think it's pretty good. And they talk about the judges, the being arrested. Some really cool stuff. Check it out.
But first, a Wisconsin judge under arrest and facing charges accused of flouting federal law to help an illegal immigrant. Federal prosecutors say Milwaukee County Circuit Court Judge Hannah Dugan allegedly helped that migrant avoid arrest by ICE officers at the courthouse. It's a bizarre case, and it's still unfolding. Hello, I'm John Roberts in Washington. Sandra, good to see you back again.
All right. Good to be back with you as well, John. I'm Sandra Smith in New York, and this is America Reports. So today's arrest of a judge marks the second such case in the last 24 hours. A former New Mexico judge and his wife were taken into custody yesterday. Federal agents arresting them for harboring a suspected Trinidad gang member in their guest house.
For more on all of this, we are honored to have in the new U.S. Attorney General, Pam Bondi. It's good to talk to you, Pam.
Good to talk to you.
So let me read a little bit from the criminal complaint here. And Judge Dugan says, despite having been advised of the administrative warrant for the arrest of Flores Ruiz, Judge Dugan then escorted Flores Ruiz and his counsel out of the courtroom through the jury door, which leads to a non-public area of the courthouse. A foot chase ensued. The agents pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse and ultimately apprehended him. According to this complaint, Judge Dugan was visibly angry that ICE was there to arrest Flores Ruiz, even tried to kick the deportation agents out of the courthouse.
Yeah, and to set the stage for you and Sandra, this was truly horrific. This guy was in court being prosecuted by a state prosecutor for domestic violence battery. He had beat up two people, a guy and a girl, beat the guy, hit the guy 30 times, knocked him to the ground, choked him, beat up a woman so badly they both had to go to the hospital. And John, you know, it's so rare for victims to want to cooperate. They wanted to cooperate. They were sitting in the courtroom with the state prosecutor. The judge learns that ICE was outside to get the guy because he had been deported in 2013, came back in our country, commits these crimes, charged with committing these crimes, victims in court. Judge finds out. She goes out in the hallway, screams at the immigration officers. She's furious, visibly shaken, upset, sends them off to talk to the chief judge. She comes back in the courtroom. You're not going to believe this. Takes the defendant and the defense attorney back in her chambers, takes them out a private exit and tells them to leave. While a state prosecutor and victims of domestic violence are sitting in the courtroom.
Wow.
You know, Madam Attorney General, great to have you here, and thanks for coming back on America Report. So we remember these words of Tom Homan, the border czar. This was March 17th, and his message on these judges who apparently are trying to get in the way of this administration's efforts. Listen.
I'm proud to be a part of this administration. We're not stopping. I don't care what the judges think. I don't care what the left thinks. We're coming.
So when you see these judges trying to obstruct your efforts to make this country safer, what is your message to them?
We are going to prosecute you, and we are prosecuting you. I found out about this the day it happened. We could not believe, actually, that a judge really did that. We looked into the facts in great depth. That's her picture up on the screen, Hannah Dugan, who is now in custody. You cannot obstruct a criminal case, and really, shame on her. It was a domestic violence case of all cases, and she's protecting a criminal defendant over victims of crime.
In fact, she just had an initial appearance in court. There's also this other case coming out of New Mexico. Judge Joel Cano and his wife were arrested for harboring a TDA member at their home. The alleged TDA member had been picked up by law enforcement, and now he and his wife were picked up and arrested. And you say that you believe, as the Attorney General, that the person that they were having living at their home was a truly potentially bad individual.
Yeah, that's the judge up on the screen now who got arrested. Yeah, his name is Ortega. He was is a known TDA member. So he comes through Eagle Pass December 2023. He's living in our country. January 2025, ICE, they get a tip. Tom Homan's done a great job. Our FBI did a great job on this case, too. They get a tip that he is living with a judge and the judge's wife. So they have him arrested first on immigration charges. A Judge Damian Martinez releases him, saying that Judge Cano has a good BS meter and wouldn't let just anyone live on his property.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the associations with this violent Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, and this person that they harbored in their home, he was showing signs through clothing, we were told, tattoos. There was evidence through voice messages and text messages of his association to TDA. So what charges will Cano and his wife face, if any?
So Judge Cano, soon to be former Judge Cano, got his charges were just unsealed. He's charged with obstruction. He admitted post Miranda. He took one of the TDA members' cell phones himself, took it, beat it with a hammer, destroyed it, and then walked the pieces to a city dumpster to dispose of it to protect him. The wife also is charged with destroying evidence. Sandra, not only that, this TDA member, and he had on a necklace that said kill, something about death. He had tattoos all over him. He also had on his cell phone pictures of two decapitated victims, victims, decapitated, gruesome photos. And he was sending them out, and whoever he was sending them to was sending back saying, hey, you need to be careful. You shouldn't be sending these. You shouldn't be texting these photos out. Not only that, these two, the judge and his wife, gave him assault rifles that belonged to their daughter. That's what they're charged with. In the criminal report affidavit, he goes to a shooting range with these assault rifles, with a suppressor, with other known TDA members, and they're shooting. This is the last person that we want in our country, nor will we ever tolerate a judge or anyone else harboring them.
Let me, if I could, Madam Attorney General, come back to the Wisconsin case and Judge Hannah Dugan, because in allegedly letting the perpetrator and the attorney out through a non-public exit and allowed them to get out in front of the building, we had a situation where we've seen that I know Tom Homan was complaining about in Colorado, where there would be no transfer of a defendant from a jail to ICE custody on a detainer request in a way that was orderly and protected public safety. They would dump them off in a parking lot, and then ICE would have to chase them around with the DEA or whatever, or FBI, and pick them up. This ended up in a foot chase in public sight. It says here, a foot chase ensued. The agents, and this was a DEA agent and an FBI agent, pursued Flores Ruiz for the entire length of the courthouse, ultimately apprehended him near the intersection of West State Street and 10th Street. So the judge apparently has created a situation here where you have a public foot chase. And we all know that, while sometimes they can come off without incident, they can also turn into very dangerous situations.
John, that's exactly right. She put the lives of our law enforcement officers at risk. She put the lives of citizens at risk. A street chase, which is absurd that had to happen. But yes, she put a lot of people in danger. That judge did it. So did the other judge. Judge Cano is charged with. They were allegedly giving him assault rifles, AK-47s, AR-15s, with a suppressor, a known TDA member, letting him go to a shooting range to refine and perfect his shooting skills. What's happened to our judiciary is beyond me.
Yeah, so when the American public hears this and they think these were once upstanding people in their communities and their professions, and they put it all on the line for this, I mean, have you dug into their motive? Like, what inspired them to carry out these acts and harbor criminals?
They're deranged is all I can think of. I cannot believe. I think some of these judges think they are beyond and above the law, and they are not. And we're sending a very strong message today. If you are harboring a fugitive, we don't care who you are. If you are helping hide one, if you are giving a TDA member guns, anyone who is illegally in this country, we will come after you and we will prosecute you. We will find you.
If I could just finish off with this idea, very significant development that you're arresting judges now. Now, it could be that the judges have engaged in terribly bad behavior and deserve to be arrested. But you know what critics will say? They'll say, oh, this is a government that is expanding the powers of the Article 1 of the Constitution. Now they're arresting judges. How do you respond to that?
No one is above the law, John. No one is above the law in this country. And if you are destroying evidence, If you are obstructing justice, when you have victims sitting in a courtroom of domestic violence and you're escorting a criminal defendant out a back door, it will not be tolerated, and it is a crime in the United States of America. Doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be prosecuted.
Madam Attorney General, great to see you in the studio.
Great to
I kind of think this might be the first arrest, the ones that we're talking about in the Q post. I kind of do. I don't know. Sort of setting the pace, going after, lawyers, not yet, but going at, like legally, from the legal side of all these judges that are doing corrupt things, all these judges that are harboring criminals, all these judges that think they're above the law. Like, that would be one of the places that you would want to, one, remove them, and then you get to replace them. Like, there's a huge movement here that's happening. Of course, one side's going to be very, very angry about this, and that's what's playing out. It's kind of comical. Here's a bunch of people protesting that this judge should be let out.
Immigrants are welcome here. No hate, no fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. Immigrants are welcome here. No fear. Immigrants are welcome here. No fear.
All right, this is boring as hell, but just to point out the fact that there's a lot of printed signs in a very short period of time. Of course, this is organized. There's money flowing, which that money's drying up, by the way. It's probably why some of this is getting really weak, and I think it's going to continue. Now, this is, I don't know, interesting, I guess I would say. Insurrection Barbie posted this. Democrats are just mad that this administration will enforce the law. It's not the first time rogue left-wing nutjob judges break the law while sitting on the bench. In 2019, a judge in Mississippi helped an illegal alien escape the building when ICE agents came to get him. She was arrested for obstruction of justice, but the charges were dropped under Biden. So we've got a Massachusetts judge who admitted to facts for helping man escape ICE can return to the bench with the case now dropped. They've been doing this all along, by the way. This is nothing new. We got this story that's out right now. Justice Department says it will resume practice of obtaining reporters' records in leak inquiries. Uh-oh. And this was the big thing with Catherine Herridge, I believe. So I think a lot of people are going to be against this. I don't know. I honestly don't care. It happened. Once something happens, as far as I'm concerned, all right, this is what we're doing. Like, I'm not going to sit here and quarterback couch it at this point outside of that. Like, it is what it is. So, yeah, they're going to be giving up their sources, which it all comes down to one important thing right now, kind of, which sucks because the government's just going back to being able to keep secrets. But the way they did leaks and the way leaks were utilized and the way they were used to damage people rather than or push agendas. So they've solely been used against us. But again, it's like, all right, well, let's hand that power to another individual. Like I always, bitch about hypnosis, right? Like if you got a person you don't trust, don't let them hypnotize you. That's a bad idea. But then to like, if you have to be hypnotized, and you're like, oh, so I got to find somebody I trust. Oh, right? Like, I don't know. There's just certain things I don't necessarily want to trust them with. And being able to keep more secrets from us sucks a little, but where we're at right now, man, I don't know. I mean, I believe Trump's trying to do the right thing. I believe a lot of people are going to make a lot of money. I don't mean just his billionaire friends, but everybody's going to do well from this boom. And he's getting us respect back in the world. I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing the problems with it. A lot of people are bitching about the momentary lapse of pain or the momentary pain that we're having. But he told us it was going to happen. Like, yeah, it sucks. It sucks a little. So we got some stuff going down. Trump DOJ clears federal authorities to arrest Trinidad Agua gang members without warrant. Again, another thing that's going to be questioned in law. But frankly, they're just doing this. Enemy Aliens Act, they're like, whatever. We're going to do it through the Department of Defense. We're no longer going to do it through the regular Homeland Security branch of things. It'll now be the military. They're going to try to say this is the military operating on the government grounds. You watch, but ultimately, I think that's maybe why they've got that segment of border area, and they've certainly got bases that are considered federal land. So there are a lot of places that they could get away with this. I'm kind of wondering if they're going to make Camp Pendleton become something like that. There's quite a bit of land over there. I know that. And I know they've got the ability to house a crap ton of people. So I don't know. I just don't know how they're set up as far as dangerous or not. And also, you got to understand there's a lot of pissed off governors that are threatening to let people out of jail right now, too. So we've got a lot of really, really messed up things happening in this war. There are still a lot of people in power that are deep state, that are still able to do things that suck. So, I mean, they can't just kick down the door and, like, arrest Gavin Newsom, as much as we'd love to see that. But Gavin Newsom can still do damage big time, at least to people like me. Well, from the standpoint of whatever. A now former employee of Arizona Department of Agriculture was arrested earlier this month and states the southern border for alleged human smuggling. So this dude got busted by Border Patrol. They spotted this black Chevrolet Impala quickly leaving an area. They'd seen him a few times. This time he seemed to have some people in the back seat. They followed him, lit him up, right? And boom, what do you know? Dude's well, he's smuggling people. So the Arizona Department of Agriculture employee, he was actually trying to be promoted by Governor Hobbs. And the dude's literally smuggling people himself into this country. And he just got popped. Not going well for them, that's for sure. Here's Secretary Rubio, talking about the fake news that's been blowing around right now, and that they're essentially just sent like 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds across the border. Kick their asses out. They're kids. I don't care. Give them a bag of Pampers and some wipes and send them on their way. Maybe some knee pads so they can crawl without injury. No, it didn't play out like that.
On the headline, that's a misleading headline. Okay, 3 U.S. citizens, ages 4, 7, and 2, were not deported. Their mothers, who are legally in this country, were deported. The children went with their mothers. If those children are U.S. citizens, they can come back into the United States if there's their father or someone here who wants to assume them. But ultimately, who was deported was their mothers who were here illegally. The children just went with their mothers. But it wasn't like, you guys make it sound like ICE agents kicked down the door and grabbed the 2-year-old and threw him on an airplane. That's misleading. Yeah. That's just not true.
Just to be clear, because I do want to get to the overhaul at the State Department, is it the U.S. policy to deport children, even U.S. citizens, with their families, and I hear what you're saying, without due process? Just to be very clear there.
Well, no. Again, if someone's in this country unlawfully, illegally, that person gets deported. If that person is with a 2-year-old child or has a 2-year-old child and says, I want to take my child with me, well, then you have 2 choices. You can say, yes, of course you can take your child, whether they're a citizen or not, because it's your child. Or you can say, yes, you can go, but your child must stay behind. And then your headlines would read, U.S. holding hostage 2-year-old, 4-year-old, 7-year-old while mother deported. So the parents make that choice. I imagine those 3 U.S. citizen children have fathers here in the United States. Yeah. They can stay with their father. That's up to their family to decide where the children go. Children go with their parents. Parents decide where their children go. Right. The U.S. deported their mothers who were illegally in America.
Again, just a lot of the BS that they keep telling us, the crap stories. This is fun. We've got a major underground nightclub that got popped hardcore. Pretty cool video. Check this out. Yeah, none of these people are getting a free pass on this one. According to the DEA, over 100 people in the country illegally have been detained as to what they say was an underground nightclub in Colorado Springs. F around and find out, Colorado. California, feel free to do the same. I'm sure San Francisco is going to be getting some major doors kicked down here at some point as well. Here is a law enforcement individual talking about basically some extra info that will bother you a little.
Jonathan, give us some perspective here. 300 law enforcement officers. What brought about this kind of requirement, this kind of need to be here with that show of force?
So this is an underground illegal nightclub, okay? And what was happening inside was significant drug trafficking, prostitution, crimes of violence. We seized a number of guns in there. We had active duty service members who were running security at the club and involved in some of these crimes. And in fact, we had over 100 illegal aliens inside as well, and those over 100 illegal aliens were taken into custody by ICE.
Active duty service members helping as security here. Can you elaborate on that at all?
So it's an ongoing investigation, but we had over a dozen active duty service members in the club tonight, either as patrons or working as armed security.
Jonathan.
Yeah, there was actual Americans there being a part of this illegal thing. A bunch, military even too. Again, these are the people we need to catch. That's all there is to it. There's going to be people on our side of the fence that are definitely going to get caught up in this. Be okay with that. Be ready for it, especially because I'm going to beat the shit out of them. Santos is a great example of somebody. Let me do the kicking. You got how long? That's great. 7 to 80 months, whatever the hell it is. Bye-bye. Dude, you broke the law hard, you piece of trash. Given a bad name. So, yeah. The shit people got to go down. ICE makes insane number of illegal migrant arrests in one swoop during stunning blitzkrieg. I think this was a different place, I believe. They got about 800 people in this crackdown in Florida. Operation Tidal Wave. And of course, Florida, this is what happens when you help, by the way, when you got a state governor that's actually friendly to ICE. And it's really hot in Florida, right? Hot and muggy. So, I mean, shit, ICE just helps, doesn't it? Just kind of cools it off a little bit. That's what I'm saying. I'm actually stealing, I think, from somebody that was protesting because they're like in Chicago or something. And they're like, it's too cold already. We don't need ice. And it's like, Florida, opposite. They need it. They love it. They got it. Have some ice. Just raining shaved ice on everybody. Labor Secretary warns states could lose federal funding if illegal immigrants get unemployment benefits. It states very specifically, U.S. Secretary of Labor Lori Chavez DeRemer, she warned states of losing federal funding if they fail to comply with the President Donald Trump's directives on rewarding illegal immigrants with tax dollars, according to this April 25th statement. Quote, our nation's unemployment benefits exist solely for workers who are eligible to receive them, Chavez DeRemer wrote in this letter. Quote, to qualify for unemployment, one must be able and available to work, actively seeking work, and be legally authorized to accept employment in the United States. Unemployment benefits are not a handout for those in our country illegally. The Secretary reminded all states that failing to fulfill existing legal obligations will result in the loss of federal funding through Title III UI administrative grants. They are going after the blue states. And they said, oh, they're weaponizing it. I don't give a shit. I honestly don't care. I'm not trying to spin it right now because I think honestly right now we're gonna take some of the abuse happily from the left, in my opinion. Yep. Just let them think what they're thinking. And then I honestly think if we're, 6 months from now, if things don't look noticeably better, which I'm almost sure they will, then yeah, we need to have different talks, guys. Maybe I'll change gears a little, but I think what I'm seeing for myself, man, we're doing so much stuff. In 100 days, this dude's done more than any president has, probably in even a double term. Like, it's insane how many executive orders and everything. This dude has done a lot. Now, again, part of it's the blitzkrieg. That's exactly what they're doing right now. It's destroying them, and they're having a horrendously tough time with it. They're getting just annihilated, and they can't control the narrative anymore. They're trying, though. Here's another one of our reps, U.S. Rep Frederica Wilson, Democrat from Florida. This is the latest Democrat politician to use rage rhetoric to rally voters despite an alarming increase in political violence on the left. I believe she asked people, so I've been giving out the phone numbers to the House of Representatives and to the Senate. It's one number, that number you call and you threaten it. And you say, this is wrong. This is not America. This is not what we stand for. We need a change. We have to do that. It's going to take the people. We've done it. We need the people. We needed an uprising where people are taken to the streets and the phones and writing letters, and that's what we need. So this is what she said. That was all her. That was the quote. All right? Now here's what's beautiful about this is if you call somebody and threaten them, that's against the law. So I honestly think what she's doing, I don't know if accidentally or on purpose. I think it's accident. But she's telling a whole bunch of triggered people to break the law who are going to get busted by Pam Bondi's FBI. Sweet. That's an easy way to get some of the most nut-jobbish people off the streets. Yeah. Get them riled up, get them fired up, and make it really illegal. Call your senator, call him, and then make your threat. It's like, wow, that's horrible. You should have just said, Trump, here's his phone number. So now, inciting this, those are some giant pearls, Jesus, too. By the way, that's just so friggin' gaudy. Again, I don't know if what she did was illegal. I think kind of is, but there's been so many examples of it. Maxine Waters and who are the others? Cory Booker, and there's been a few of them, right? A few of the guys that have said all the same horrible stuff. Yet it's always, it's always our side of the fence is we're the worst. We're the worst because it's January 6th. We just freaked them out because of numbers. The amount of damage we did was minimal, but our numbers were freaking huge. So yeah, they've got. I don't know who rammed through who. I don't know who killed who here, but this is freaking horrible. 9 people have been killed after an SUV rammed through a packed street festival in Vancouver on Saturday night. Vehicle rammed through the crowd at the Lapu Lapu Day event at around 8 p.m. local time. Detectives said the 30-year-old man from the city and has been known to police was taken into custody by people in the crowd before being arrested at the scene following the mass casualty event. Issuing an update on the death toll, apparently Vancouver police said, as of now, we can confirm 9 people have died after a man drove through a crowd at last night's festival. I changed that a little because I didn't want to say Lapu Lapu again. So yeah, they were there to honor Filipino heritage. No way. Well, the Filipino friends of mine, you guys take your stuff like that very seriously, so that means it killed a bunch of Filipinos probably. That's really sad. Acting Police Chief, let's see, Steve Ray. What else we got? You got anything in there? I was hoping you'd tell us what's up with this dude. They knew about him. I don't know. He was obviously a nut job in some way, shape, or form. I was hoping they were going to give us a little more than that. I was salivating. Yeah, this is, good God, Daily Mail. I don't have this kind of time. There's too many words. Too many words, Captain. Federal judge on Friday temporarily blocked the administration of President Trump from stripping thousands or hundreds of thousands of federal employees the ability to unionize and collectively bargain. I think it has to do with that collective bargaining thing. Blocks Trump from ending union bargaining for many workers. He was just trying to shut it down, which it is kind of stupid that government money is funding that. Like, we have to fund the collective bargaining too. Like, nah. Anywho, whether it's blocked permanently or not, we'll see. But I don't think it's, again, it's just a slowdown. I don't think that's a problem. Donald Trump truthed out many things today, by the way, but here's another one. Big news coming out of Africa, where I am also involved in settling violent wars and conflicts. I don't know why so many of these events have fallen to me and my administration, but they have. And we have done an unprecedented job in getting them settled or putting them in positions for peace. Stay tuned. He's also talking about this. This is a neat declaration because this is going to tie into what I've kind of been hinting at with the Panama Canal. We're ultimately going to take control of it in some way, shape, or form. But he's essentially demanding that military and commercial ships be able to get free transit. He's like, dude, we built it. We bought it. We should get free transit. Yeah, we let you have it. You're not going to be making money off us. F you. Essentially, I'm translating. Ed Martin, he's the firebrand, of course, of the Republican activist who Donald Trump picked to be his top prosecutor in D.C. Well, he's got a new target, it seems. Wikipedia. Come to find out that we've got foreign actors that are messing with the edits on Wikipedia. They've done some research. That was one of the things that was Ed Martin was asking Doge to look into, which they did. And they figured out where a lot of these edits were coming from, and many of the edits are coming from a small number of locations, many of which are not in this country. Not just by IP. I think they've got more information than that. All said, they're investigating. We'll see if we find anything out. But that would be, again, many Americans look at Wikipedia to know what stuff is, even though most of us that are halfway awake realize Wikipedia is totally jacked with. And it's like, yeah, So some of us know, some of us don't. There you go. This is pretty cool. They were talking about Congress needing to really do their jobs. And we were talking about this on the In the Mix show I did on Saturday. It's a community show where people that donate $25 actively a month, and then they come on. So if you've got a product, I actually kind of recommend it, but it creates a great opportunity for us to talk to the community and certainly to promote whatever you're up to. But we do that, and then if you want to be a part of it, it's on thefringe.locals.com. Go to onthefringe.locals.com. Join, and if you're an active member of 25 or more a month, you'll get invited to that Saturday show. It's 1 p.m. Pacific time, which basically is 4 p.m. Eastern, right? And if you have to figure it out from there, I don't know what to tell you. But you can look at a world clock, people have said. All said. It's fun. We do it then, and also the prior weekend before, there's a $5 meeting that you'll be kind of grandfathered into, if you will. That's a Zoom meeting where we just kind of hang out and people ask questions. A lot of fun. All said, it's one of these places where I think we're starting to really make a difference, is getting the community together to get them to talk and starting to get this kind of stuff echoed or rippled, as I like to call it. Again, this is just, I think, an example of stuff kind of working the way it's supposed to work. At least nowadays, like the new world. It's tough to use those words, but it is.
What we really need is for Congress to now embrace all of the corruption that Elon has found and eliminate it from the budget. Because at the end of the day, in order to capture the savings here, we do need those appropriations eliminated from the budget. And my biggest concern is not something that Doge is going to do or not. It's not up to Doge to do that. It's up to, frankly, these old bulls in Congress who control the appropriations process. Are they going to basically backslide and just put the spending back in because it's easier to just do that, to engage in this log rolling? Or do we take advantage of this, I think, incredible sacrifice that Elon has made? I mean, look, this has cost him enormously. One of the reasons why Tesla is down is because you've had crazy leftists engaging in terrorism, firebombing Tesla dealerships. In any event, he's made this enormous sacrifice in order to expose the corruption. And look at what we've learned. We've basically learned that this whole NGO thing is a giant scam where, the people in government give enormous amounts of money to their friends, probably with the expectation that when they leave government, they're going to be next in line at the trough. And I think Elon's done an enormous service exposing this, but, it's not entirely up to him. In order for us to realize the benefit, we need Congress now to act on that. So and I'm just afraid that's not going to happen.
And this brings up like a bigger problem that I see in the big picture. And it's some people, I don't know how many, it's hard to tell, but it seems to be a lot. It seems to be more than half of my general view, unfortunately. But I think there's this large number of people that like this floated story of Trump being president again, and they get very excited about it. Yeah, because that's the only way we can do this, right? And it's like, that's so sad if that's where we're at, first off. Second off, the dude deserves, like, he's been working nonstop for 12 years, not really making money, like helping the country. Like, you want to demand another 4 years of his life, getting maybe an hour of sleep a day? Like, really? Like, that to me seems kind of crazy. Like, I feel like we should give the dude a break, and there should be like JD Vance or hopefully, or whoever, and we'll see. It's friggin' 90 days in right now. Not even anywhere near where they start going for that. So again, it seems strange to me. But Elon Musk's the other one. The only person that can do this. No, just being allowed to look at stuff. His team's brilliant. And they were able to put together some stuff where they could click a button basically and boom, like instantly mapped a bunch of stuff. These guys are brilliant and were able to write some very, very cool code. And AI does the rest, I guess. So again, it's all amazing. It's all powerful, but we have to get up off our butts, each of us individually. I don't think I can say that enough. I don't think I'm going to stop saying it. It might be one of the things that annoys people, but meh. Dr. Fauci literally was elevated, and this is coming out. This is going to be one of those people that I think he'll literally have to stand before the world court or the equivalent for crimes against humanity, probably mostly for HIV, but likely for what he did for sure with the COVID stuff, which I don't know. I don't know which one's actually worse, to be honest. I think the HIV stuff likely could be significantly worse, but he did much the same. using the same medicines that did the same thing, that caused kidneys to shut down and kill people. It's pretty jacked up. And again, I don't know. I'm still want to know. He's got to have some heritage that goes back to like Mangala in some weird way, shape, or form. There's got to be something about that dude's German scientist all over the place. Anyway, this is Harmeet Dillon calling out the evils of this freaking evil bastard.
On the government, because the importance of this historical moment in time is how many of us who are on that side of the tyranny, like Jay Bhattacharya and many others, are now in the government, because we can never forget what happened, not just to people in the medical profession who are seeing this stupid TikTok videos and this lionization of people doing their jobs, but every single American was affected by this. And I'll never forget it. It still irritates me to see people driving in cars here in DC wearing masks. There's an ongoing mental illness and hysteria in the United States.
Yes.
And some people, and I'm not trying to mock people, they're legitimately scared and scarred for life by the junk science that came out of the federal government and was eagerly seized upon by petty little bureaucrats everywhere, and especially our home state of California.
I'm not used to discussing medicine with attorneys, but I'm gonna go there because you used the word hysteria, and I was using it during COVID, going, I think we've become hysterical. Now I'm convinced it was a hysteria, but it continues. And as I look across the arc of that hysteria, it started before COVID. It just went to full bloom during COVID. What do you think that is? Do you have a theory of what? I mean, I've done a lot of reading about true believers and mass hysterias and mass movements and grievance societies, and it always goes bad. The Jacobins sort of invented it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're the expert on mental health issues, but from my lay perspective, it is nascent and trending authoritarianism, and the sort of credentialing and lionization of experts in our culture. I'm a daughter of a doctor and granddaughter of two doctors, so I respect the medical profession, but people are fallible. But Dr. Fauci was elevated not just in this situation, but of course in the AIDS crisis as well, as an expert, and people died. Many people died unnecessarily. We had a form of euthanasia in our country during COVID with how we treated many elderly people and treated them as less valuable. And so that is what some people are addicted to, is they need God figures and they need people to believe in, and religion is absent from our life. And so those so-called medical experts became the religion of the state, and to our folly.
And when you look at who they were specifically going after too, that it was mostly homosexuals and drug users. And it was, like they said, kind of like it was a targeted form of, let's see if we can remove this. And if Fauci was even involved in that in any way, isn't that, just like I said, akin to, that's why I feel like he's got to be related to these guys. Because he's just got that, like, that evil gene in him. Like, it's trippy. Really trippy, in fact. I guess we'll do it in a second. This is shocking, right? Britain, wow. That's all I can say. Wow. I was shocked. Britain's highest court has ruled that the words woman and sex refer to, quote, a biological woman and a biological sex, end quote. This is a landmark decision. Years of confusion and anger about how you can just change these things willy-nilly. Well, that seems to not be true. A biological woman and biological sex. Biological is what you were born. Unless in some weird, teeny tiny weird percentage of things, which they can start working on immediately, you manage to make some sort of, androgynous or sort of he, she. And then, hell, all bets are off. If you had a he, she's got a vagina and a penis, oh my God. Just things are going to collide. It'll be strange. So once they figure out how to make that happen, that'll be a different story. But until then, it seems pretty set, by the way. Now, I said androgynous, it made me kind of laugh, but I actually got to consider these guys right now. Healthy Home, love them. Just hearing so many people, been talking about myself, our shoulder dislocated. I was just sort of feeling, it was like a pop, a little bit of pain when I'd work out. There's a couple exercises, a few of them in particular that I could really kind of feel it. So I'd, just either tough through it a little, but I mean, it was one of those, I probably felt like I wasn't doing a good thing. This, by the way, Stem Active, I don't know, within 3 weeks or so, I've taken Stem Active just every day, once a day. There's 60 pills, you take 2 pills a day, or you get the liquid and you do one of those a day, right? I literally was like, oh crap, my shoulder doesn't seem to hurt anymore. Just fixed it, helped. And what it does is it helps your body create more stem cells, your own stem cells. I'm not injecting stem cells into you because normally those come from fetuses, which is disgusting, right? So if you're doing that, and it's extraordinarily expensive. And they're very effective, by the way. Let's not lie. This actually has your own body doing it, your own thing with all natural stuff, making your your healing system significantly stronger. So you got anything going on, joints, you got aches, you got bumps, lumps, this stuff is rock star status. And it actually has a lot of benefits just on the overall big picture, because when you think about, like, once you've really healed the bigger problems, I think it starts to get into some of the other stuff within our bodies that are out of balance. Like, there's just a lot of really good ingredients that are in this, and it's like plants and stuff like that. It's just awesome stuff. healthyhome.com / let's do it this way. danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Let's try that again, right? danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. And again, just go there, hit the shop tab. Joining, I highly recommend. I do recommend the executive member if you're going to go down the join path. It's just, you don't pay a monthly fee. You get the best pricing. There are some other perks, but from just the easy standpoint, like, yeah. And what the choices are to buy in, if you will, are good pricing. And you can buy just like a single thing. Like, you'll be surprised. There's so many choices. There's some great kits, by the way, package deals. And what's sweet about those is you get, like, they'll say free shipping for life, or there's a lot of crazy stuff that you can literally, buy some stuff, get 3 months supply, and you got a good deal on it, and now you got free shipping for life. It's kind of cool. It's a neat company, right? So they got the Stem Active, they got the balance, helps with the, as we age, the hormonal thing that's going on. It's not putting hormones in you. You don't ever want to really take hormones, guys. It's a bad idea. Testosterone, especially if you're taking stuff to get more testosterone, what you do is you start to cause your body to stop making it. It doesn't enhance how much you've got in you. Now, there's maybe ways to get around that. I'm not an expert, but I'm just saying, be careful. This isn't hormone replacement. Again, helping your body create more of the stuff it needs to. There's some people that are saying dudes are getting a kick out of it. I haven't tried it yet, but it's a lotion. You put a little on your wrists. It's transdermal, so you just literally like rub it in on your wrists, I guess, 'cause that's where the vessels are, right? And it kicks in like it's pretty cool, I guess. Maize is a collagen supplement. Collagen is everything. It's the most important protein in your body. Make sure you got a bunch of it. The peptides is one of the best sources of it. It's also liquid, immediately gets into your body. It's going to help your sagging skin, sore joints, and certainly fingernails and hair. It just helps with all this stuff. It's a part of almost everything your body does. It's going to make you feel better, just having some collagen thrown in there. Prime is incredible. I love it. This is just daily energy. This stuff is incredible. It helps expand your vessels. You just got more energy. It's cool. I just know it. And then Stem Active, it's a way if you've got a pet that's injured, surgery, maybe in a place where it needs some extra healing. It's not very expensive. It's not nearly as much as like the people version of it, but it does the same thing inside your pet. It helps your pet get more of those stem cells inside of itself. So Stem Active for pets is also an amazing product that Healthy Home offers. Go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make healthy choices, healthy living, healthy decisions, and health is what you will experience. Now, in the meantime, though, when we're, shifting from healthy, now we're going to talk about how we're all going to die. I'm just kidding, kind of. But that's what they want us to believe, for sure. So apparently, I don't know if playing the video is worth it. I mean, no. It's long. It's not that long, but I think they should. All right, fuck. They should. I can hear someone screaming. Okay, we'll see if I can pull it up now. Why didn't that work? No, because I wasn't on it. That's why. So here I think they. So this is a dam. I think on the India side that fed water to Pakistan, and they just dried it up. They literally, I think, turned it off. is what we're finding out here. So Pakistan is no longer getting their brown water from India. Pakistan essentially is going to consider this an act of war. Oh, I thought you were going to excite me there. I thought you were going to show it turning off. Really? This is the worst videos ever. Worst videos ever. What's the point of those videos? They show nothing that you would want to see. It's horrible. Anyway, India shut it off. There you go. I wish I would have just read it. It's a waste of time. That's what happens sometimes when you go down places you shouldn't. But here's the thing. We've also got this happening, and Pakistan's army is deploying a bunch of howitzers, basically M110 self-propelled. They're tanks, big giant 203 millimeter cannon that just shoots a big-ass shell. Kaboom! Can shoot it pretty far, very accurate, especially if they're using some of the advancements. Now, it is older, I want to say. I don't think Pakistan's like doing the best stuff in the world. But India's got pretty formidable defenses, too. So this is, without a doubt, going towards escalation. It's just like all this shit's happening right now, and they're going to try to blame Trump. Like I said, stock markets, keep that in mind. I keep talking about it. DRSlikesgold.com. Folks, there's so many things that are going to piss the stock markets off that they're going to blame Trump for no matter what. That's why I'm saying just kind of suck it up for the next 3 months, and I think we'll be able to brag after that. Right now, I think we're just going to have to, dodge tomatoes. Pakistan and India exchanged second straight day of border fire on the brink. So now they're actually exchanging fire back and forth. Apparently, Islamic militants killed 26 Indian tourists. I finally found out what actually happened. And it was, I guess, horrible. It sounded like a small version of what happened in Israel. That's really kind of what it sounded like, which is very deep state sounding. Looks like this was organized to, in fact, cause a war between two countries that freaking hate each other. And it's because, yes, this Kashmir region. This is the place that anything, like you drop a match anywhere in the Kashmir region and it instantly catches fire. The whole place. And that's what they did. That's what they did. So we are... I didn't see that one coming. That's for sure. No one was talking about that ever, right? All the people talking about shit, not that. Now, what's interesting is it's right on China's border, which is annoying to China. We like that. So it wouldn't surprise me. I don't know. I hope we're not behind it, but frankly, who knows? White hats probably have killed people before, or they try to minimize, I think, and who knows? But this terrorism type of stuff, that doesn't seem white hat-ish at all. It seems very dark hat. So the responses are going to be interesting. That's all I can say. It's right on China's border. Two countries that have nukes, by the way. Yeah, something to mention. U.S. Does some war game stuff with our good friends in the Philippines. All right? My Filipinos down there, you guys are awesome. By the way, we have a little calamansi tree outside. Little one's in a potted thing, but it's fruited majorly. My girlfriend's been able to use, I think she's picked over 15 of them at this point and made like her little soy sauce and calamansi. Just like loves it, like puts on steak and all sorts of stuff. All my Filipino friends are out there just like licking their chops right now. Calamansi is this cool little, I don't know. It's like it's sweeter than a lime. It's not quite a lemon. Like I don't know. It's this weird little form of citrus that's like somehow in that lime lemony sort of sweet. Like it's amazing. And with soy sauce, by the way, even lemon with soy sauce for any of you guys that are noobs is super duper good. Anyway, that said, we're out of there. We're out of that. But this is Philippines. We're getting friendly. Getting friendly. China doesn't like this. We're getting friendly with Japan. Getting friendly with Philippines, Australia. We've taken all that from China. We've taken it back. This is another one of the things that Trump's done. And now we've got difficult negotiations going on when it comes to trade. China's been taking advantage of us. And Trump knows this. If China lowers that tariff significantly, it'll actually compete with some of their stuff because people want to get Western products. There's just this weird thing. Russia was really big with Levi's. Levi's were a big deal when the Berlin Wall first fell down. People wanted Levi's. Like they'd wear them around in Russia, and that meant you were cool. You had Levi's. No one else had Levi's. You must have paid a huge amount of money. I got Levi's. They're here. I have the ability to buy them. They were stoked. So this is a transition. This is part of the change I've been talking about. Yeah, some of the numbers are going to suck. Economy's going to have some moments. DRSlikesgold.com. I'm just telling you, protect yourself. There's a lot of crap that's going to happen, and people are going to bah, 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 bah. But if you kind of stand back, let it sort of happen, let it hit, if you will, and then give it a moment where everybody freaks out and makes up stuff and just gets it wrong and whatever, right? And then a second later, like a secondary story comes. That's when you want to run with it. You don't want to be the first because, well, you're going to be wrong or you're going to have to get into sensationalism. And I've seen a number of people that's what they live by. So be careful because sensationalism catches all of us. We see those headlines and we're like, oh, we click on it, right? And then we read it and we're like, that didn't tell me anything. Yeah. And we'll click it again tomorrow and the next day. So it's tough. We got to deprogram ourselves. It's really weird. It's a weird part of this ordeal that we go through. Israel's not going to drag the U.S. into a war, is what Trump is saying. He's like, I'll lead the pack if no deal is made. Basically saying, look, here's the thing. They either get rid of their nuclear aspirations and abilities, or we'll attack them. Don't even worry about it, Israel. We got this. And I think Iran's kind of like, I think that was meant to be like, that's how serious we are about this, first. Second, we could actually accomplish it. I've got questions that I don't think Israel, I don't think they could pull it off. They've got some cool stuff. They got nukes. They got all sorts of stuff. But I don't think they've got the type of weaponry needed to get to the levels of where this bunker happens to be. And they might even have to use something that's completely not even bomb-oriented, which, again, I still think would be the way to do it. Energy weapons would be the way to hit this guy. Done. You could just blow it up from underground. Just no one wants to acknowledge that it can be done yet because it's kind of like going to be a no-holds-bar. So you've got to make it look like nothing happened. It's got to be questionable. That's why I have a hard time with him wasting that on fires. I mean, it can, but there's so many ways you could start fires that are significantly easier and cheaper. Just significantly easier and cheaper. Just think of a homeless person, right? I mean, just an example, though. But, like, you offer them drugs or money, and all you tell them is you're like, look, here's the thing. I'll give you $100, or I'll give you some speed or whatever the thing is. I don't even know what would be the choice, right? Meth or fentanyl, hell, who knows, right? I'll give you that. And then you just, I want to hear a story about, or I want to know, or I want to see fires going out because there's a fire that started over there. And the dude's like, all right, and runs over and starts a fire. And I mean, that'd be easier because that homeless person's never going to talk about it. They'll likely never catch him. And the person doing the payment ain't going to talk about it either. Like, to me, that's easier. It's an easier way. You just have one dude fans out a bunch of people. Once the stories come out, he's like, all right, payments, here you go. And I'm telling you, I think that's easier to do than a bunch of energy weapons because people find out you got shit like that and you can use it like that. And it's obvious, which I think some has been used. Don't get me wrong. I know I piss people off because I don't go along with everybody's, like it's all or nothing. I just have a hard time with some of those. It's just too complex. It's too complex a way to deal with a problem. Just seems silly. Iran had a huge explosion. Here's a great example of where I think energy weapons might have been used. This is a pristine example of where it would make sense. Deadly explosion at an Iranian port that killed at least 28 people on Saturday was caused by chemicals used for ballistic missile fuel. Ballistic missile fuel. It had been purchased from China. China had brought it in to offload it here in Iran. Ballistic missile fuel. That would be, without a doubt, something we would attack. And when might we do it? I don't know, the second they connect it, right? I mean, if you can see with satellites with the precision we know they can, then easy peasy lemon squeezy. You energy weapon the hell out of that thing the second they connect to it, and bada boom, bada bing. And bada boom is for sure what happened. Unfortunately, 28 people lost their lives, 1,000 plus wounded. So horrific. But interesting when you consider what it was going to be used for, ballistic missile fuel, and given from China. You draw your own conclusions. Russia confirms North Korean troops are in Ukraine and claims Kursk region is retaken. They're like, yeah, we got North Koreans working with us. What's the beef? You guys got every other person under the sun working with you. What is that going to enhance the war? You're going to start attacking North Korea now? Maybe that's what they want. Russia's like, yeah, what are you going to do about it? Suck it. Or suck it. Something like that. Oh, cool. Oh, that's different. Nice. Ukraine, headed by Volodymyr Zelensky, has not signed the... He spelled it his way, too. It's interesting. That was nice of Trump. He gave it the double Y. That's the Ukrainian spelling of it, if you will. So he spelled it properly. Headed by Volodymyr Zelensky, has not signed the final papers on the very important rare earth deal in the United States, or with the United States. It is at least 3 weeks late. Hopefully, it will be signed immediately. Work on the overall peace deal between Russia and Ukraine is going smoothly. Success seems to be in the future. He was pissed off, though. I don't want to read all this. But he's just pissed off at Russia for attacking. And he's also talking about no matter how good a deal he makes, the press is going to hate him. So, yeah, it's very long. We had the fourth meeting between Witkoff and Putin. It came after President Trump made a public demand that Russia kind of chill on its attacking them stuff right now. But here's the thing. He's also saying, look, Zelensky, you haven't done what you're supposed to do. And I think that was probably Putin coming like, come on, dude, man, like at least call Zelensky out for the shit he's not doing. And Trump's like, oh, yeah, and you haven't, and so we're getting there. We're talking. I think the peace is coming, at least from the Russia-United States side of this. And I think we'll acknowledge this deal. And if anyone else fucks with it, then it starts to become their problem, big time. And we'd probably back Russia and probably Ukraine to a degree, but if they started them fighting again, and there's going to be deep state that are going to shoot little errant things off, so it's going to happen. They're going to desperately try to keep this war going. It's driving them insane. But I think Putin and Trump know that, and I think they've got some technologies that they can utilize and figure out who the problems are, because once you see where they launch an attack, you're like, okay, this is obviously not Zelensky. We will immediately blow up that area, and likely we've killed at least somebody on that side that's been doing this kind of work. And hopefully they, can get to the top too. That's always a big, hard part. Here is them talking. It was weird how this played out. It's kind of worth sort of watching it. But Macron, of course, is like, hey, you guys talk? I want to talk. I want to get involved. And he's like, no. Me and the little guy got to talk. And he's like, yeah, no, I need to talk to him. And so then they have Trump gets him in a chokehold. It would have been cool. Didn't happen, of course. Right? Someone comes in and just hits him with the back of a chair. And he off the third rope. It's where they should go. They should take it to the octagon. I think Trump would beat the hell out of Zelensky. I think he's just a big guy. I mean, he'd tire out quickly. There's no way Trump's in shape. The guy would, he'd have a possible heart attack. It would be horrible. But I think Zelensky would get just rocked by the dude. Zelensky claims North Korean missiles used in devastating Kyiv attack, which left 12 people dead and dozens injured. So, I guess the other way to say it also, again, I don't have a problem with this. I know I'm supposed to, but it's like, yeah, you guys have, Ukraine, you've bought missiles from everybody in the Western world and used them against Russia. And not only used them against Russia, but blew up their Moskva, one of their most prized ships, they had to have had help from the Western side of things, and Putin knew that. He's like, there's just no way that you just blew up my most prized possession. So yeah, we don't. This isn't going to work for them, right? Like we've been offering him weapons. He's been using them against Russia, but Russia can't buy weapons from Iran and North Korea. Again, am I saying that's okay? The same freaking thing they're doing. Yeah, it's okay. Totally okay. I mean, war is stupid. I think we should stop killing each other. And then it won't matter, right? But yeah, of course they're going to help supply. Russia's building their own shit, and then they're going, oh, you want to, yeah, we'll buy some of your shit. Totally. Let's do that. It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me. Virginia Giuffre. She is the one that was with Prince Andrews, the sick bastard, who's, the truth is probably going to come out at some point, has committed suicide. She did make a post back in 2019, I want to say it was. I don't know if I have it or not, where she essentially said she would not kill herself. She was a mother of 3. She was in Australia. Near Gabby is apparently, I'm sure they say it a little differently. Sounds probably way cool when they say it. Yeah, near Gabby. Something like that, maybe. I don't know. For my Aussie friends, there's one of them out there. Near Gabby. I don't know. Is that close? Or I don't know if you can phonetically spell it. It's hard. But good day. Good day, as they would say. Anyway, whatever the shit. 41-year-old. She died. It's very sad. She had 3 kids. Horrible. Horrible. They're calling it a suicide. I don't know if we've gotten any details as to whether it was like, a doorknob kind of thing. But this, of course, screams deep state. In fact, I want to say Donald Trump Jr. made a comment. Yeah, cool. That's what this is. He says, Donald Trump Jr. posted this. He goes, oh, come on. Other than the Clintons, no one has more suiciding going on. And, of course, referring to Jeffrey Epstein's Giuffre. It's probably too soon. I don't know. I don't think so. Now, this was the post. Oh, cool. I do have it. Where she says, and this was 2019, December 10th, I am making it publicly known that in no way, shape, or form am I suicidal. I have made this known to my therapist and GP. If something happens to me, in the sake of my family, do not let this go away and help me to protect them. Too many evil people want to see me quieted. She uses the butterfly. The butterfly. Butterfly is a big deal. I thought typically it was the monarch, but I'm betting that's not true, and this blue one is probably closer to the reality of it. But needless to say, maybe they mean something just by the color. Whatever the case is, the butterfly is a very monarch-controlled kind of thing, and it's been very consistent in many, many, many places. So we've got some horrific stuff going on, guys. A lot of crazy in the world. I'm going to keep walking with you guys. I think we've got big changes coming. I think we're going to see these changes happen. They're going to seem bumpy and rocky. We've talked about this, and to the common person, it's going to look like the sky is falling. Understand that you're the only link they're going to have to reality. And I think our reality is not going to last longer than 3-6 months. I mean, I think we've got cities are probably going to have some sort of thing kicked up, but I don't know if it's going to go as badly as many are freaking out about. I do think there'll be a few cities that it happens in for sure. I don't know. We'll see. I think we're going to make enough noise to actually make it harder for them. And many of them are going to get rounded up much quicker because we'll be aware of their communications. Again, there's a lot happening, and they're not going to get away with this. Not this time, anyways. We're changing the world, folks, and you're helping me do it shoulder to shoulder. I appreciate that. Where we go one, we go all. It's on the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.